Welcome to my channel pibyme Maths. This is by WST01. Here in this video we are going to solve January, February 2022 Statistics 1 paper. Let's jump into question number 1. Question number 1 is from chapter 4, probability. A factory produces shows. A quality control inspector at the factory checks a random sample of 120 shoes for each of 3 types of defect. The 3 types of defect: A represent shoe has defective stitching, this is A, and then B represents shoe has defective coloring, this is B. C represents the even that a shoe has defective soles, this is C. A, B, C. That's why you have 3 circles. So what does this 2 represent? There are 2 number of shoes. They have these 2 shoes, they have all the 3 defects. So here the 3 represents they have both defect A and C. 5 represents they have these 2 defects. There is no shoe with just defects A and B. And then these are all the number of shoes with exactly 1 defect, and there are 93 shoes that got no defects at all. Okay, this is the Venn diagram, so you need to understand the Venn diagram. And all the numbers you have here are not the probabilities, it's the count actually. So whenever you find the probability, you need to divide by 120, the total number. So let's look at part A of the question. One of the shoe is in the sample is selected at random. I put the Venn diagram here again. Find the probability that it does not have defective soles. Defective soles is denoted by C. So when they say does not have defective soles, they basically want you to find P of C complement. You can either find P of C and subtract from 1, or you can simply take everything outside C. 9, 0, 1, 93. 9 plus 0 plus 1 plus 93, everything divided by the total number. So you will get 102, 103 over 120. Leave it as it is. Just one more question. Let's move on to part B. Find P of A intersection B intersection C complement. Some students, they find it difficult actually, because you need to find, you should be good at shading the Venn diagram to solve this type of questions. So I'm going to explain this by taking a copy of this Venn diagram. I have put the copy of the Venn diagram here, 3 diagrams. We are finding A intersection B intersection C complement. So let me find A intersection B first. A intersection B is the middle part, right? That is common in both A and B, this part. And then let me find C complement now. C complement is everything outside C. So this is C complement. Now when they say A intersection B intersection C complement, you have to take the region which is shaded in both this diagram. You need to look for a region which is shaded in both the diagram, which is just this region, right? So you need to take the figure, the number from this region, which is 0. So in the exam also you can do this. Just quickly draw 3 diagrams and find out which region are they talking about, and then take the figure from there. So the answer is, you don't need to write anything, just write 0. The same way you can do A union B union C complement. Now the second figure is C complement. Now we are going to find A union B. So everything inside A and B also. This is A union B. What you see here is A union B. So when they say A union B union C complement, basically you need to combine these 2. We are not finding intersection, we are finding union. That means you need to put one diagram on top of the other one and check which region will be shaded. So everything except 7 will be shaded, right? So everything except 7. This is A union B, and then you need to take C complement So this is basically A union B union C complement. You need to take all the numbers from the shaded region. That means x sub 7. You can do two things. When you add, the total is 120. So when you leave 7, you can write 120 minus 7 over the total, which is 113 over 120. Or you can simply write 9 plus 0 plus 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 93, everything except 7 over 120, which is 113 over 120. I think this will be more appropriate. Or if you want to use 7, you can write 1 over 7 over 120. This will give you the same answer. That's just a 2-mark question. Part D now. Find the probability that a shoe has at most one type of defect. They want you to find at most one. Maximum the shoe should have only one defect. Minimum 0 defects. So you need to take all the figures from here. 9 shoes has defect A alone, 1 has defect B alone, 7 has defect C alone, and 93 has no defect. So how do you write it? P of at most 1 is equal to 9 plus 1 plus 7 plus 93 over 120, which is 110 over 120, 11 over 12. That's all. What if the same question says, instead of at most, it says at least 1? P of at least 1. So the shoes, they must have at least one defect. At least one, at most can be 2 defects or 3 defects, right? So these are all at least 1. And these shoes, they have 2 defects, and this one they have 3 defects. So when they say at least 1, you need to take the shoes with 1 defect, 2 defects and 3 defects. So everything except 93. So it's basically you need to add everything, which is going to be 120 minus 93. It's going to be 120 minus 93 is 27 over 120. You need to put it in your calculator and write the simplified fraction. 9 over 40. It's not as in the question, I'm just explaining this. Okay, it can be at most or at least. But if the question says exactly one defect, let's say the question says exactly 1, so you need to take 917. 9 plus 1 plus 7 is 17 over 120. When they say exactly 2, you need to take 035, which is 8 over 120. If the question says exactly 3, you need to take this 2 over 120. These are all the different types of questions that might appear in the board exam, for this type of similar questions actually. Okay, anyway, I'm going to move on to E now. Given that the selected shoe has at most one type, whenever you see given that a condition, that's a conditional probability. The at most one defect is the condition. They want us to find the probability it has defective stitching. Defective stitching is denoted by, in the question, defective stitching is denoted by A. So we need to find the probability of A given at most 1. Use the formula for conditional probability. A given B is equal to P of A intersection B over P of P. So here A intersection at most 1, probability of this divided by probability of at most 1. We got the probability of at most 1 in the previous part actually, which is 11 over 12. So you put 11 over 12 in the denominator, 110 over 120. Why you use 110 over 120? So it's easy to cancel 120. Now what is A intersection at most 1? A is this whole A. This is A. So when they say at most one defect, you need to take the shoes with 1 defect or 0 defect, which is just 9, right? So that's the intersection, 9 over 120. When you cancel 120, you will get 9 over 110. Always put it in your calculator and write the simplified fraction. That's all, it can't be simplified further. So 9 over 110 is the answer here, part E. Part F. The random variable x is the number of events A, B, C that occur for a randomly selected shoe. Find E of C. A, B, C means the defects they are talking about. So the number of defects. What do they mean by number of events A, B, C? The number of defects. So a shoe, if you take a shoe, the shoe may have 0 defect, 1 defect, 2 defects, 3 defects, right? And you need to find the probability corresponding to it. So you will get the probability distribution and then find E of x. The formula is sigma x times P of x. That's all. So when they say 0 defects, there are 93 shoes. So 93 over 120. 1 defect, 9 plus 1 plus 7. 17 over 120. And then 2 defects. It's better to write, if you want 3 marks, you can write them separately. X is 0 is 93 over 120. P of x is 1 is, you need to write 9 plus 1 plus 7 over 120, which is 17 over 120. So you need to write them separately and then put it in the table. For 2 defects, you have 3, 5, 0, which is 8 over 120. 3 defects is a 1 in the middle, 2 over 120. But make it a habit, whenever you draw a probability distribution table, whenever you happen to draw this probability distribution, make sure you add everything on check. The total probability should be 1. If it's not 1, something is wrong. So here if you check, you get 110, 120. Total is 120 by 120. So the answer is 1. Now we got the probability distribution table. Let's find E of x. We need to take x and multiply by the probability. So E of x is, the first one becomes 0. The second one, when you multiply, it's better to write first 17 over 120 plus 2 times 8 over 120 plus 3 times 2 over 120. So you're going to get 17 plus 16, which is 33, plus 6 is 39 over 120. 39. 13 3s are 39. 43s are 120. That's the final answer. Let's go to question number 2. Tom's car holds 50 liters of petrol when the fuel tank is full. For each of 10 journeys, each starting with 50 liters of petrol in the fuel tank, Tom records the distance traveled D and the amount of petrol used P. The summary statistics for the 10 journeys are given below, so the 10 will be the N. Calculate the PMCC. The PMCC, the actual formula is SXY over square root of SXX times SYY. Here they have used D and P. You don't need to worry about what is X here, what is Y here. You can just simply write SPD divided by square root of SPP SDD. So we have SDD, we have SPP. Let's find SPD. SPD is, the formula is, take it as SXY. The formula is sigma XY minus sigma X times sigma Y over N. Sigma XY is given 5240.8 minus sigma P times sigma D over N. Just get this value and sub in everything here. So I'm going to calculate this now. 5240.8 minus 50.8 times 1029 divided by 10. Okay, so I'm going to keep it as it is, 337 over 25. Now we can find R already. So R is SPD or DP, which is what we calculated, 337 over 25 over square root of SPP is given as 0.576 times SDD is 344.9. So I'm not going to store this value because it's just an exact value. Keep it as it is. So now 337 over 25 divided by square root of 0.576 times 344.9. When you round it to 3 significant figure, it's going to be R is 0.956. That's the answer for part A. Let's move on to part D. Write down an equation for W in terms of P. W is the remaining petrol in the fuel tank. So if you read the question carefully, they started off with 50 liters. The amount of petrol used is P. So the remaining will be W is equal to 50 minus P, right? That's all. Oh, sorry, that's an easier equation for this 50 minus P. Write down the product moment correlation coefficient between W and P now. Now look at it, it's just a linear equation, right? And the slope is -1. That means if they use more petrol, the remaining fuel will be less. Or in other words, as P increases, W decreases, right? Or the other way around also. If P decreases, W increases. So it's a direct correlation, negative correlation. So R is -1. If it's a positive correlation, you need to put it as +1. Write down the value of the PMCC between D and W now. D and W. Okay, what is D here? The distance traveled, right? Okay, we already have the correlation PMCC for P and D, right? P and D is R is equal to 0.956. Correct? Now they want the PMCC for D and W. The W is given in terms of this, right? A linear equation, correct? It's like a coding. Usually the coding will not affect the product moment correlation coefficient. If the coding is W is equal to P plus 50, let's say. So here also the PMCC will be the same, or P plus any number, or P minus any number, or P minus any number. But the moment you multiply this P by -1, that will affect the PMCC. Now the PMCC will be minus 0.95. The same PMCC, but you need to put it as a negative sign. That's all.